What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? I guess I said Happy New Year to you last year. Well, Happy New Year to you again. This is the second show of the year for us here at the Fryar Place, where the conversations are fire. Oh, my gosh, I see a bunch of people logging in already. Good to see you, Alfonso. Good to see you, Vincent. What's going on, everybody? Listen, we got a great show lined up for you today. I got a great guest lined up for you today. This is going to be crazy. I promise you, it's going to get crazy at some point today in the show. Y'all come on in. If you have a question today, when I introduce our guest, if you have a question, please put a Q in the comments with a semicolon after it and ask your question, and we'll see if we can get to it. We want to interact with you because you are important to us. You are what makes the wheels go round here at the Fryar Place, our guests, our subscribers. So thank you for logging in. G. Albert, Alfonso, we see you. Yup, we see you already in the chat. I'm waiting for my mom to come on. She always comes on. I fixed my mom's TV today so that she could get YouTube, the Fryar Place, on her TV instead of watching it on her phone. So hopefully she gets on today and she'll be watching and she'll let us know. Well, she doesn't know. I didn't tell her that you can't make comments on TV. You got to make the comments on your phone. You still got to get on your phone to make any comments. So hopefully she'll be on and she'll be able to make comments. If not, we'll catch her next week. She'll be all right. I'm sure she's watching it though. But listen, before we get into the show, before we bring our guest on today, you know we have to pay some bills. So y'all check this out and I'll be right back.
Are you planning a special trip or a night out? Don't bother with the hassle of driving, parking, and traffic. Just call Ed Smooth Transport. One-way or round trips available. We will take you there, and we will also pick you up. Enjoy a night on the town with Ed Smooth Transport. Call us 609-471-2653 or 609-314-6619. Visit our website to take advantage of our monthly specials at www.smooftransport.com. Ed Smooth Transport, where experience meets comfort.
In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, there's a slightly slower pace of living. That's also where you'll find the home of Stoltz Fish Structures, where quality, integrity, and world-class customer service are more than just a way to do business. It's a way of life. From our humble beginning over 40 years ago in a small building, to the modern 65,000 square foot facility of today, we've remained at the forefront of our industry. Everything from gazebos and sheds to garages and pergolas, and everything in between.
Yep, and everything in between. Stoltz Structures. You can check them out on mysheds.com. Great company. Listen, if you mention the Fryar Place or you mention Irving Fryer, you mention anything about this podcast, 10% off of any purchase you make at Stoltz Structures. You can check them out again at mysheds.com. Listen, my sister Hope is on right now. William Harris is on right now. I see all of y'all. G. Gilbert, Vincent Capriati. Okay, y'all come on in the house. Remember, if you have a question, if you're listening to this podcast, this show, I should say, and you have a question later on for our guest, please, Q, capital Q, semicolon, ask your question. We chat all the time on another platform. I'm a Raider. You're a Raider. Alfonso Windsor, you're a Raider. That's your problem. God bless you, bro. Listen, my guest started as a journalist for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Yep. From 1989, I believe it was 2024. Wikipedia says 2023, but I believe it's 2024. We'll ask him. He hosted the WIP Morning Show. Great, from 6 to 10 a.m. Not there now. We know that your camera and John Ritchie is there. But this was the cat that started it all. Philadelphia Magazine describes him as having done more than anyone to shape how we talk about and even think about sports in Philadelphia. Y'all, it's none other than the legend, Angelo Cataldi. He's in the house. Come on, put your hands. Jello, what's going on, man?
Wow, Irving, you left out the part that you and I did a TV show together we're figuring close to 30 years ago on Comcast Sportsnet.
Yep, when Comcast first started here in Philadelphia, yeah, it was called the Angelo and Irving Show. We did a great job too. I didn't want to say that, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. This show's about you, brother. But we had a great time, man. You're great. Obviously I was playing football at the time, so you made it really easy for me to come in. I believe it was Tuesday nights we did the show, or was it Monday nights?
It was Monday, but
Monday,
it was games.
Yeah, you made it real easy for me to come in and just be me. You had everything all set up, whatever we were going to talk about in terms of topics, and all I had to do was just fill in the blanks. It was very easy, so I appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. What you been up to? You retired now? Was it 2023 or 2024 you retired?
It was 23, right after the Eagles got eliminated. They lost the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And in my final show, Irving, I ripped apart
You ripped
the defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, because he blew the Super Bowl for us. And it's 2 years later, I'm still mad.
He's doing all right now. He's a head coach now. Somebody didn't think he did such a bad job.
Now, losing record. I root against him every week.
Really?
Oh God, yeah. He cost us. I was on the air 33 years. I got 2 championships. 08 with the Phillies and 17 with the Eagles. I would have had a third one, but he choked in the second half against the Chiefs and Mahomes, and he blew the game. So I hate it. That's all.
I see not much has changed over the years. I've always enjoyed listening to you. Like I said, I enjoyed working with you when we were together. Listen, I want to ask you this question because you're one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, as a matter of fact, WIP is the WIP that it is today. And it's considered to be, in my opinion, WIP is considered to be right now the largest, the greatest sports radio show on the East Coast. Better than any of those in New York. So, and that was you. You were the one that had a big hand in building that whole thing up. You and, was it Eskin? Was it you and Howard Eskin?
Howard Eskin was the afternoon guy. And don't forget my partners, Al Morgani, Rhea Hughes, Keith Jones. I had a lot of help.
Rhea's still there. Al Morgani's still there.
Al's still showing up every once in a while and doing a show. He loves it.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. He was a huge help to our show for 28 years that we worked together.
What amazes me is how much, and I know sometimes I guess maybe you have notes in front of you, but most of the notes in front of you have to do with the current going-ons. But how you have the recall from stuff that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, just pull that stuff up like there's nothing to it. And that's just amazing to me. And it doesn't matter whether it's football or baseball or basketball. You guys can pull that stuff up because you've been there, you've done that, you've experienced it, you reported on it, but it pops back in your spirit and you're able to recall it when it matters in a moment when you need to, like, maybe make a comparison to something that's going on currently. But you guys do that, at a whim. That's amazing.
Wow, that's perceptive because I retired when I wasn't able to do that anymore. Like there was a period, like the last 5 years, last 6, 7 years, the names weren't coming as fast.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot and I used to have like a way to signal to Rhea, and Rhea Hughes would drop the name in, so it didn't sound like I had missed it. But it was, I'll tell you, Irving, I'm 73 now. And,
that's not old. That's not old.
It's old. You're not 73. It's old.
Okay, but let me tell you how old I am, because the last time you saw me, I was in my 30s. I'm 62 years old, Angelo.
Man.
I'm 62 years old, man. Time freaking flies.
If you shaved that beard, you would look like you were mid-40s.
Get out. I'm not shaving my beard. Not doing that. Nope. Look, my hair retreated and went to my face. He went on a farewell tour from my head and went down to my face. So I got to hold on to it, Angelo. I can't do it. My wife wants me to shave it too. She doesn't like it that much, but that's okay. There's other parts to me that she can enjoy.
Oh,
So listen, I got a question for you, man, because I want you to trip out and have fun on the show. So listen, I applied for a job at WIP back before the season started, and they hired me as the filling guy. You know who that is? The filling guy. I'm supposed to be the filling guy. I was looking to get the job that was going to be doing the post game shows. But obviously, I didn't get that job. They gave it to someone else. I won't mention his name. So they hired me as the filling guy, but they never gave me a schedule. I'm still like in limbo here. And it's been the whole season. This happened at the beginning of the season before the first game of the season. So what's your advice to me as the filling guy at WIP when I do get an opportunity to get on and have my voice heard? What would you tell someone having done it for so many years, having been the man? What would you tell me as someone who's just coming in? What would be your number one thing that you would advise me about?
All right. And this could end up getting you fired. All right. But this is the thing I learned in my long tenure there. Have an opinion, make sure it's strong, and really sell it. Theatrics. You have to have a little of that. You have to have a little, you have to make it exciting and interesting. And you have that already. I work with you. I know you did. The problem is if you really strong opinion, the Eagles blew a game, you want to rip the coach. It's different than it was 30 years ago. Now, you're going to get some pressure from the team because they have a business agreement with the radio station. They might make a call to your bosses, but you got to block all that out. You got to say, that guy should have caught that ball. Like the game where Devontae Smith dropped the ball.
He should have caught. Yep, they should have won that game. Listen, everybody was talking about, how Pickett came in and he's not the backup and they can't do that. They should have won that game. He played well enough. Because there's a saying that we always had, at least I always had, from coaches in my past. It really doesn't matter what happens in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or halfway through the fourth quarter. We want to play well enough through all of that time, whether it's interceptions, fumbles, whatever. We want to be in a position mid-fourth quarter to be able to win the game. All right? Doesn't matter what happened before that, but mid-fourth quarter, late fourth quarter, we want to be in a position, whether it's our defense that has to stop them, whether it's our offense that has to get down the field and score a touchdown or a field goal, we want to be in a position to be able to win the game. So it doesn't matter what happened in that game prior to that. Right there at the end when Pickett threw Devontae Smith that ball, Devontae catches the ball, the game is over.
Over.
It's over.
And the people listening to that post-game show, they're going to go, wow, Irving Fryar was a great receiver himself. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about that. And then you could explain how do you drop that ball? Especially a sure-handed guy like that. Then you get him. You go, that guy can't do that. You understand? This is too. They could have had the first seed. They could have the first week off of the playoffs if he caught the damn ball. And then you kind of really ramp it up. You get mad. And then you go.
That sounds like high blood pressure to me.
Well, yeah, but it's how you last 33 years. You got to really sell it.
Didn't one of your producers told you, because after you came out of journalism, you came into radio broadcasting, sports radio, and one of your producers told you to stop pontificating and start entertaining. Is that where you got that from?
True. Yeah, my PD, my program director said, you're not in journalism anymore. Make the people laugh, make them mad, provoke them, be exciting, make it fun. Fun, but in Philadelphia, it's got to be contentious. There's got to be some give and take. There's got to be some anger. That's part of the deal, But if you do that, God, you would kill. You would be great on that. And the other thing I would suggest you do if you didn't get assigned is maybe call me, because I could call somebody because they still kind of remember me there. And I go, when are you going to use my friend Irving Fryar? He's phenomenal. Hello?
Okay, well, wait a minute. Well, just since you brought that, hey, what's going on, Ed Crawley? Back it up, binge podcast. That's Irving Fryar belongs on the radio. Bad move by WIP. Well, they didn't say no yet. Back it up, binge podcast. They just haven't given me a schedule yet. But you can call them if you want. I'm going to have Angelo call them. Check this out, Angelo. We all know William Harris. I see you. Billy Bell is in the house too. We got a bunch of people on. Yes, my mom. My mom is on, Angelo. She made it. She's watching. She said, Tainted Rose. I see you too. Listen, I was going to do this at the end of the show. It was one of my last questions, but I'm going to do it now since you brought it up because you said you would vouch for me. You would make a phone call because you know a couple of people up there. I'm sure you do. And you still have some influence over there. So listen, your buddy just retired. I don't know if it was a forced retirement or if he got what. I don't know all the details of that. You do. I don't. And we're talking about the king, Howard Eskin, just retired. Now, to my recollection, he had a job on game day working on the sidelines. Correct. That job is void right now. That job is vacant right now. To my knowledge, they haven't filled that position as of yet. What do you think? What do you think?
Irving Fryar?
You doggone Skippy, yeah.
All right. Here's the thing. They did fill it.
Oh, they did? Devin, oh, my gosh. With who?
They did fill it. Devin, a woman that works on the morning show with Rhea and the crew. And she's awesome. She did great.
Was she on last week?
No, you're in there. You're not going back on the field.
I would love to be on the field, on the sidelines, talking with Mike and Merle.
Well, that's good, but I see you analyzing stuff, watching stuff. You see stuff we don't see.
Of course.
Tell us what it is. You know?
Yes.
That's what anybody can report on an injury. The sideline person basically is just telling you who got hurt, what their status is, are they in the tent, that kind of, you know.
Yeah, but I could add to that, Angelo. I could add to that and bring in the feel of momentum. Bring in what I'm sensing on the sidelines. Bring in what I'm seeing guys do in body language and all that kind of stuff that people don't necessarily pick up because they're in the stands, but they also don't pick up because they've never played before. So in addition to just reporting injuries and who's in the tent and somebody's got glassy eyes, I can talk about the sidelines and how the game is perceived from a player from the sidelines.
Okay. Now I'll give you a test. This is the test of whether you would be accepted by Philadelphia. If you saw Sirianni screaming at a player or another coach, would you go live on the air and go, wow, the coach just lost it. He's really angry at Saquon Barkley. He thought he should have stayed in bounds. He's yelling. Would you do that? And then would you offer an opinion on whether that, or would you go, ho, I can't get to,
No, I would, first of all, I would rip him. One. You
would?
Yeah, of course. Listen, was it Peyton? Sean, no, he's out in Denver. Is it Peyton is his name?
Yeah, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. What Sean Payton did last year to Russell Wilson on the sidelines?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was total disrespect. I am opposed to Sean Payton now. I used to be his fan. Now I don't like him because he disrespects players. And if you want to take it back even a little bit further than that, or farther, time, distance, further is degree, farther is distance. Yeah, take it back a little further than that. People use those farther and further wrong all the time.
I know they do.
If you want to take it back a little further than that, remember he was suspended for putting bounties on players' heads. Remember that? Yes. That's total disrespect for players. You're taking
right there.
Oh yeah, I rip him up and down. You can't talk to a player like that on the field. You can't disrespect and downgrade a player in front of everybody. If there's something that's wrong, okay, either you sit on the bench next to him and you say it to him quietly, calmly. Because one, in today's game, in today's world, there's cameras everywhere. Everybody sees it. And they can get close enough that they may not be able to hear you, but they can read your lips. So yeah, I would, if Sirianni did something like that on the sidelines with one of his players, I would definitely, as a player, listen, John Gruden tried to do that with me one time in practice. I tried to break his face. Nobody knows about this.
Yeah.
I did. He tried, and I actually left, like, they said that A.J. Brown left practice about 10 minutes in practice yesterday, and somebody I think it was John Ritchie this morning on WIP was saying, well, what, did he get in an argument with somebody? Why would he just leave the field like that? Well, he was probably hurt and went out and either injured himself more or injured it again, or just injured it and had to go in. But Richie was asking the question, well, did he get in an argument with somebody? Well, that happened with me and John Gruden. I got into an argument with him. Well, what happened my second year with Philadelphia? Ray Rose came to me, and James, the trainer, came to me. And they told me on defensive day, which was Thursdays, I would rest. You don't practice on Thursdays. Because I was an older guy and I played every play. I didn't come out of the game. And it really was beneficial to me. But they said on Thursdays, you don't practice. You don't put any pads on. You go out there and just stand and watch, because it's defensive day. It's not an offensive focused day. Offense was Wednesday, defense Thursday, special teams Friday, and the walkthrough with the full team on Saturday. So I'm standing there, and Gruden walks up to me and said, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing what I'm told to do. And he said, why don't you have a uniform on? I said, because I've been told to rest on Thursdays. Then he said to me, oh, you're a novice. For whatever reason, I did the same thing. For whatever reason, that struck a nerve in me. And my son was with me at practice that day for some reason. I didn't bring him often, but he was there that particular day. Boy, I went to choke John, and a couple of players grabbed me, and I just walked off the field, and I just went home that day. I went home.
Wow.
Yeah, I went home.
That's a great story. I wish I had that story when I was on the air. I love that story.
Nothing ever happened from it. I came in the next day and, back to normal and doing my thing. But yeah, if a coach cannot degrade, disrespect, particularly in front of other people, a player openly. Can't do that.
Well, you passed the test. I would hire you today, Irving. I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
That'd be great. On the sideline. They'll kick you off the sideline after a couple of weeks. You know that, right?
No, they wouldn't. You think so? Nah, they wouldn't kick me off the sideline.
Well, if you're reporting on stuff going on there,
right.
I don't know. It'd be fun to listen to it till they fire you.
Till they fire me? Well, you're right, because Merle and Mike, they're pretty nice most of the time. They have nice things to say most of the time. Well, Merle will get a little, edgy. Well, Merle will that was just ridiculous. That was, Merle will tell it like it is. But Mike's real nice. Mike is real nice.
Good guy.
But listen, I got a bunch of stuff here with you, and we're well into the show. But you watched or covered a professional baseball game in history. You covered it. You remember that? I'm going to take you down memory lane. It was back in 1981, between the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings. Good gosh. First of all, how long was that game? And is it still the longest professional baseball game ever?
Yes, it went 32 innings that night.
What?
Into the next morning, 8 hours and 8 minutes or so. And now people look back on it with all these great stories about how wonderful it was. It was the worst night of my life. It was 35 degrees out. The wind was blowing straight in. It was the next day, the Sunday was Easter Sunday. It was freezing. The only reason they didn't call the game after 18 or 19 innings was they couldn't get in touch with the president of the International League because he was out on a bender. And when he came back at 4 o'clock, his wife was waiting for him, but she wasn't happy. It was 4 in the morning. And she handed him the phone and she said, they've been trying to reach you for 2 hours now. And they went, we still have a game going on and no one's ever going to score because the wind's blowing straight in and nobody can hit the ball. They were all freezing. He goes, call it off. So they called a halt to it after 32 innings, still tied. They finished the game in June. 2 months later, back at the same place. It featured Cal Ripken Jr. and Wade Boggs, 2 great players that were in that game. And I was there. And now, whenever somebody's writing about it, they call me up because I'm the only one who trashes it. But I remember it correctly. We all hated being there. It was awful. Baseball's
Wow.
kind of boring anyway. I mean, you know that.
Well, yeah.
8 hours.
Well, particularly back then when they didn't have the pitch clock like they have now, so it really could take a long time. But
Oh,
nobody scored. The score was 0-0.
that was. I think it was like 1-1, and then in the 16th inning,
Wow.
Rochester scored, and then Pawtucket tied it up, and they had to keep going, and we're going. Somebody drop the ball. Let us go home. We don't want any more of this. This is horrible.
Wow.
It
And
was
you
awful.
had to stay for the whole thing, so because you had to report
32
every.
innings. Yeah.
Wow.
I could have left after like 27 or 28, but then a lot of people would have said, well, what a jackass. You were watching history and you went home? So I stayed. If I did it today, I would have left in the 8th inning.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing, man. That's just amazing. And that will never be that 32 innings will never 33 innings, whatever it was, will never be surpassed. Never.
No, because no one is going to do
Right.
anything that's stupid. They'll call it off eventually.
So when you were with the Inquirer, you wrote the Philadelphia Inquirer, that is, when you were still a journalist, you wrote an investigation piece. You were writing pieces on fixed horse races and corruption in sports memorabilia in the sports memorabilia industry. And then you wrote about how doctors, their medical evaluations were undermined because they were working for the sports teams. And then this is kind of what led you to sports radio. The lead in that story that you wrote, it got changed without your permission. You remember that? Because
Very
I can
much,
imagine
yes.
when I'm reading that and I'm thinking about that,
Yes.
I can imagine you getting hot, man, and you just blowing
Oh,
up.
oh, you have no idea. We worked on it. Glenn Macno and I did this, and it ended up being something you could look at today and go, "Wow, this was before CTE and all." And doctors back then were just patching people up, shooting them up, and pushing them back out onto the field because they worked for the team. And we wrote a great piece on it, and the idiot editor, guy's name was David Tucker. I remember it because he created WIP. He was just so writer unfriendly. And on his own, he just changed the start of the first article. And I went,
Wow.
I didn't just wait to do 5 months to see this guy come in and do it, especially because he wasn't that great a writer, at least as
Right.
far as I was concerned. So I went nuts. And that day I said, Irving, I said, I'm getting the hell out of here. I want to go somewhere where the work is mine. And then radio came along, and I grabbed the opportunity because nobody can edit you when you're on the air.
Nope.
What you say, that's it.
Well,
For good or for
they
bad.
do have a little delay, so they can beep you out.
Well, they don't though. They never did. Let me put it that way. And you know what? That was it. When I got to radio, the product was mine and not the product of a whole bunch of other people. And I made it was the right move. It was even
And
though
like
a
you
lot of people,
and like you said,
you know, I fought.
it paid more back then. It was paying better back then.
I was making 55,000 at the Inquirer, and they offered me 75,000, and I went, where do I sign? Oh yeah, I'm rich. Wow.
That's awesome,
So let's
man.
go.
That's awesome.
I
That's
flushed
awesome.
a 20-year journalism career right down the toilet for 20 grand.
But you know what? I think you made the right choice because you're
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I miss you on the morning show. I'm not saying that John Ritchie is bad. I'm not saying that Joe DeCamera is bad. I'm not saying that at all. They're very informative, but in my opinion, they're not as entertaining. Like you said, you got to entertain the people. They are not as entertaining as Angelo Cataldi, man. You could make it run and run fast, run slow, run sideways, run up, run down. You're awesome, man. You're awesome. And
Well,
the older you got, the better you got.
wow. Look, all I know is this. Those guys that are on there today do not have the same freedom that I had.
Right.
You understand? I came up in the 90s. We said the most ridiculous stuff. We went nuts. I'm sure I ripped you apart a few times,
Oh, look,
right?
yeah, I have a question here. I do. Now that you said it, I have a
Yeah.
question here. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I listen to the radio now. I'm glad you're saying this too, because it just leads right into what I want. I listen to the radio now. Obviously, I'm doing the podcast, my show, and I have a lot of sports figures that come on. So I kind of have to pay attention to what's going on, whether it's with the draft, whether it's with free agency. I have to kind of pay attention now. And so I listen to what's going on. They drafted this person, and they brought this one in free agency. They signed this one, so on and so forth. So back in 1996, I believe it was. Was it 96? I was coming in as a free agent from the Miami Dolphins, and I left in 98 and went to, actually I retired, but then I went to the Washington Redskins. So tell me, Angelo Cataldi, what was being said about me when I was coming in 1996, because I was a 34-year-old, 33-year-old wide receiver, been around for 12, 13 years, was considered, maybe some people consider me old and washed up. Tell me what y'all were saying about me when I came in, and I know I proved you wrong those first 2 years, and then what y'all said about me when I was going out.
All right, here's what I could tell you. This is not going to play into what you're thinking. The Eagles in that era, and you tell me if I'm wrong, did not have a lot of great receivers.
No, we didn't.
They did not prioritize it. They didn't have receivers like they have today.
Right.
Nothing close to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
Nope.
And we went, oh my God, if this guy's got anything left, he's the number one receiver. And you had a couple of very good seasons, right? And we were on board with you 100%. We just thought they needed more, that they never really prioritized that position enough. Now they do it at linebacker. They don't think linebacker's that big a deal. But let me tell you right now, if Randall Cunningham or Donovan McNabb had great receivers like these guys are, they would have put some serious numbers up and maybe a couple of flags. We might have won a couple of championships. But no, we did not kill you, Irving. We had too many other people. We were killing. First it was Rich Kotite. Then it was Ray Rhodes. Oh, my God.
Wait a minute. Well, Ray Rhodes, the year before I came, Ray Rhodes was the coach of the year.
Yes. And then you came and ruined it all for us.
I think the other receiver was Chris T. Jones when I was there. And then Chris T. had a great, I guess, rookie year, or maybe, I don't know if he was there for 2 years before I got there, but he was getting ready to sign another contract sign a big contract, and he got hurt and never did sign that, never did get the bag like he was, like all of us are trying to do. But yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot of, but then we didn't have real great quarterbacks either. Ty Detmer, Coy Detmer, Bobby Hoying, Rodney Pete. Am I bringing back bad memories? Listen, Bobby Hoying, it was not Bobby Hoying's fault. Okay?
No.
Because Bobby Hoying, when John Gruden was there my second year, Bobby Hoying was playing well because he was being coached by John Gruden.
Okay.
Then my third year, John Gruden went to the Raiders, and we brought in that idiot Dana Bible. He was
that guy.
He was an idiot. He was a straight idiot. Halfway through the season, they fired him. They did a coaching change like they did last year with the Eagles, and they put Musgrave in as the offensive coordinator. So, Angelo, I walk into a meeting on a Monday morning. We're about halfway through the season. I walk into, it was Wednesday morning. Monday we came in and we did our thing, watched the film. Then Tuesday we had off. So now Wednesday we're coming in for installation for the week, for that week's game. And Musgrave standing up in front of everybody instead of Dana Bible. And he's trying to do installation. He's trying to put the plays in, explain it to all of us, what we're going to be changing up this week, what new we're going to be putting in, what tendencies they have, that kind of stuff. And he's stuttering and he's stammering and he cannot get it out. And he stops, right? And he says, guys, I'm sorry. You have to forgive me. Then he said, I've never done this before. I put my head down and I said, we just went from bad to worse.
Yeah. Poor Ray Rhodes. Poor
It
Ray
was bad.
Rhodes.
It was bad.
Because I don't think they let him pick his assistants anymore than they do now. I
Right.
think the Eagles, Jeff Lurie has always got his hand in it, and he's
Mm-hmm.
always made decisions that he should have stayed out of. And that's why we got stuck with the two awful coordinators we had last year. Those
Mm.
guys were bad.
You thought
And
they?
you see the
Well, yeah, they were
difference.
novice. Sean
They knew what
Desai.
they were doing.
Yeah,
Why would
yeah,
you do that? That was a Super Bowl team.
yeah. They were. Yeah, they were horrible last year. They were. And that's an accurate statement that you're making, Angelo. And I can tell you from the inside that it's an accurate statement because when Bobby Hoying was, I mean, it was a terrible year, my third year, and I got caught up in trying to do too much too. So I had a couple of games where I didn't have good games because I was doing too much. Plus, I broke my toe, and I didn't tell anybody I broke my toe. So I was playing with a broken big toe. I just didn't want it. I was doing it for the team. But anyway, Bobby was playing bad, and I believe Bobby threw an interception. It was a home game. I remember this. Bobby threw an interception. We come off the field. I go up to Ray. He was playing bad up to that point, and games up before that. And I went up to Ray Rhodes on the sideline. I said, Coach, Ray, you got to take him out. You got to take him out. And Ray looked at me and said, I can't. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? He said, I can't because they won't let me.
Oh, this is good stuff, Earl.
That's what he said.
They won't let him upstairs.
Upstairs.
Wow.
He said, they won't let me. That's when I was like, okay, we're done for the season. So, yeah.
Wow.
And that's
Well,
when I
then
knew
why
he'd
didn't
be
you
gone. Say again?
I mean, you were making the. Why didn't you coach? Couldn't you
Why didn't I
have
coach?
become
Because the Lord spoke one day.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good reason.
Well, yeah, now I'm just a poor preacher. I could have been a rich coach. Now I'm a poor preacher. I was doing TV. I had started out, this interview's not about me, but I had started out after I left. I went and I was doing a show at CNNSI in Atlanta. I was doing a live show with Trev Alberts and Bob Lorenz. We come on from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. live every Sunday morning. I go down there on Saturday and we do our production meeting on Saturday afternoon. I had the whole night off, get up Sunday morning, and CNN was it was inside the hotel where they had us staying. I'd walk across the walkway, go and do the show. It was a live show from 9 to 10, and we were good. We were good. They were paying us well. I was getting ready to sign a new contract with them the second year. Then AOL came in and bought CNNSI and did away with the show. And then I came back and started working for ABC, Action News, WPVI. I started working for them, doing the sports with the Eagles and basketball and all. Then the Lord said, start church. So I started a church, and I really could not. And they were actually priming me, trying to get me ready to be the sports anchor at WPVI. I was training for that.
Wow.
But I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't be the sports weekend anchor. Why? Because church going on at the same time.
Right.
So I had to make a choice.
Well, you would have been great. You would. Visca Kahema did it. You saw how well he did.
Yeah,
you
he
would
was
have been great too.
He was
Beasley
great.
Reese, a lot of great players.
Yep. Beasley's my guy. So let's talk about some of these feuds you had with these coaches because we before we get you off, you had a beef with Buddy Ryan, you had beef with Andy Reid, Gabe Kapler, the owner Norman Brayman and Joe Banner. You threatened to have a fist fight with Charlie Manuel, the Phillies manager. What was that? You gonna punch him in the nose?
That was actually Eskin. That was Eskin.
Oh, that was Howard Eskin? That wasn't you?
Howard Eskin asked him a question Charlie Manuel didn't like, and Charlie said he wanted to knock him down.
Oh, okay. Well, I would knock
that a mess.
Howard Eskin down too,
No,
yeah.
no, I got attacked by a couple of players in my day.
Really?
Ray Ellis. Remember Ray Ellis?
Yeah.
He's a defensive back. He came after me. Was Greg Garrity saved me. And the coach of the Flyers, Bob McCammon, attacked me one time. But I got saved that time, too, from Timmy Kerr. So I had my moments. I irritated a lot of people, right? But my feuds, the thing with the feuds were, they all had one thing in common, Irving. They didn't tell the truth to the fans. That was the thing. Gabe Kapler was the most famous one because we got into a blowout on the air. And the reason was because he was lying. And everyone knew he was lying.
Okay.
But
What was
he
he?
put
You
it
remember
on
what he
me.
was lying about? What was he lying about?
Yeah, there was a play. There was a pop up to the infield, and the guy who hit it didn't run the first. So Andrew McCutcheon got off the bag, and then he got trapped. And when he was going back, he blew out his ACL. It wouldn't have happened if the guy ran.
Right.
Segura, John Segura. And they comes on the next day, and he said one didn't lead to the other. And I said, you know the game was televised, right, Gabe? You know we all saw the thing. What are you saying? And it went crazy. But Andy Reid the same way. Start with the injuries. Yeah, the time is yours. And it was like a robot. It was like AI. It was programmed. Those guys were the guys I had feuds with because they were not serving the needs of my listeners, the audience, the fans.
Mm-hmm.
That was always the thing that would set me up. Sirianni's the same way. He's the same way. Nick Sirianni now, I can't stand him.
Really? I was going to ask you what you think about Nick Sirianni. Go ahead, tell us how you feel about Nick.
I never liked him. And his record, he's got a great record, right? Irving, I don't like him. Never have. I did like Doug Peterson, though. Doug Peterson's the only. He told the truth. We put him on. He would say, if I had to do that again, I wouldn't have punted there. I would have done something different. We go, wow, he's admitted. And he won a Super Bowl, and he's not as popular as the Andy Reid, who lied for 14 years. Never answered a question honestly for 14 years. And they love him in this town. They're going to have a big ceremony when he retires.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not here for that.
Well, no, you got to be alive because you got to speak. You got to let everybody know that he lied for 14 years.
Wait a minute, Irving, you got me dead now? I just said I didn't want to be here.
Oh, yeah, you said you don't want to be here. Yeah, I thought you meant you don't want to be here. I said, like, no, you got to stick around. We don't want you dead. No.
Yeah, I was not planning. You're the one that put me under there. I wasn't going there.
That was my interpretation of not want to be here. Oh, my goodness. Listen, you had a couple of things I want to talk about. Just I want you to explain to the people because they hear it. Well, they don't hear it anymore. But when you were on doing your thing, every now and then you would mention it. You would say it, but people, particularly new listeners, wouldn't know what it is. But you had the Dirty 30, all right? Then you had the Wing Bowl. Those were things that you came up with not just to grow the station, but to support sports, particularly Philadelphia sports. The Honk for Herschel and the Rally for Reggie, all those kinds of things. So you weren't just the guy trying to stir things up, trying to, come at people's neck. You really cared about the sports, whether it was football, baseball, basketball, hockey. You cared about the sports, and you were really a fan of Philadelphia sports, and you wanted things to be better, particularly for the athletes. So, real quick, talk about the Dirty 30. Huh?
Yeah, all those things you mentioned were also designed to stir things up. But let's not make me into some saint because I was doing it because I knew that it would connect with the audience. It's always here's the thing.
But that's your job. That's your job.
I never gave a damn what you thought of me when you were a player on the Eagles, with the coaches, with the play, anybody associated with the teams. It didn't matter to me what you thought of me. I was not about to engage in a lifelong friendship with you. The people paying my bills were the people listening to the show.
Right.
So my focus 4 hours every morning was what are they thinking? What do they want to say? How do they feel about things? And that's the way I created what I did. And the Wing Bowl, 20,000 people to see a bunch of fat guys eating chicken wings, and the Honk for Herschel, which, by the way, I wrote a book called Loud.
I was going to ask you about that. You wrote that after you retired, right?
But Honk for Herschel was fake. We did that with sound effects. There was very few people showed up. A lot of that stuff. The Dirty 30 was the big one because we ended up booing Donovan McNabb at the draft.
Right.
That wasn't the plan. We just wanted Ricky Williams.
Right.
Right.
But you booed Donovan. Donovan still hold that against everybody.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
He still hates me. It's 25 years now. He still hates me.
Well, listen, that's a big moment for a guy. I mean, particularly today. I don't know what the draft was like back then. I'm sure it wasn't like when I got drafted, but it's a big deal now. So when you're walking up on the stage and people are booing, that's not a good experience.
It was not good. It was not. Most of the guys were drunk, and they were out of control, and I did not control them. And we got a lot of, the thing is, we end up getting publicity for it. More people listen to the show because of it. But you're right. We didn't do well by McNabb. And I try to make it up to him, Irving. I had him on one of my TV shows, and he came on the show, and he was very courteous. He took pictures with me, and when we went to break, stone silent. There was no small talk. He was just there, fine, But look, I'm not proud of what happened, but he needed to handle it better. You would have handled it better. If you got booed, you would have gotten over it after a few months.
Oh, but you got to think of, and I'm not trying to defend Donovan, or I'm not trying to defend the drunk guys, but it's like at that point, that's the best moment of his life.
I know, you're right.
That's the best moment of his life, and people are booing. So that's hard to get over.
We just wanted Ricky Williams. Ironically,
you got the better of the two. Trust me, you got the better of the two.
Yeah. If they did what we said, and then he showed up the first year and he did interviews with a helmet on, with a joint in his hand, that wouldn't have played well in Philly. So you're right. The choice was McNabb. They made the right decision.
Yep. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, you've seen a lot of them. Randall Cunningham, Mike Vick. I'll put Rodney Peete in there, black quarterback, but mobile. I'm talking about mobile quarterbacks. Even Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. You've seen them. Jalen Hurts. Which one do you consider the best?
Wow. All right.
And if it's not Jalen Hurts, what does Jalen need to do to up his game, in your opinion?
All right. Here's the thing. Cunningham was the most talented guy I've ever seen. Any position. He could run his arm. He could throw 60, 70 yards in the air. He's amazing. All right. But he had no coaching. Buddy Ryan didn't care about offense, so we don't know how great he could have been. Right. Wentz, I was never that big a fan of, because to me, Carson Wentz was a whiner, right? And they would not have won that Super Bowl if he didn't get hurt.
If they didn't get hurt,
Foles, right. Foles had big cojones, and Foles wasn't. Foles is going to the coach and going, let's try a gadget play against the greatest coach of all time just before the half, and it works, right? So. Jalen Hurts, to me, I like him more than any of them because he's the whole package. All right. Okay. He's smart. He's fast. He's got an excellent arm. He's got it all, but it hasn't all totally come together yet. I still believe it will. You know what I like the most about him? When he's doing an interview and you see him and he's just got that focus. And you could see that he's totally on board. Like, people are worried about the rust for the game on Sunday.
Right.
I don't think it's an issue, because I think that guy knows how to prepare himself. He's the son of a coach, and he conducts himself that way. And with Saquon back there, Irving, this may be the best chance they have.
It is the best chance. Yeah.
I mean, for who knows how long. This is it.
Well, they have to win the Super Bowl. You know why they have to win the Super Bowl? Because Saquon Barkley did what was best for the team, and he advocated the throne. And he stepped down when he had the opportunity. He was right there to be the number one leading single season rushing leader in the history of the NFL. He would have obtained that easily. he would have gotten it. I understand why. Let's not even get into that. But as a player, I would want that record. So now that it's been snatched from me, okay, because of the team, I'm a team player. Guess what? The team need to do something for me. We need to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now,
Can you imagine at the end of the season, whether they lose in the playoffs or whether they go to the Super Bowl and lose? Now Saquon doesn't have anything. He doesn't have the rushing record, and he doesn't have a Super Bowl. And just like in life or anywhere else, you don't want to look back and have regrets.
You're right. That's why I would have let them play last week. I would have gotten a record.
I would have done it too.
Yeah. I was on with Jason Kelsey, Todd Hermans, and Ike Reese last week on Kelsey's. It was like a rehearsal for his TV show. And they all said the same thing. Players think you play. And Kelsey said, the reason you play him is you're not just rewarding Barkley. You're rewarding that front line, the offensive line. He said the best record for those guys they could ever obtain is the most rushing yards in a season by one guy. He said that would have been a reward for all of them. And they didn't let him do it. So you're right. Now they got to win the championship.
They got to win the Super Bowl. Because you know what? If I was a receiver on that team and we're going for the rushing record, I would have been the one to spring him because I'd have been downfield fighting, trying to get a good block to be in the highlights. Look at Fryar got the block for him. They got him the record. So they got to win the Super Bowl now. So before we go, talk about the game. What do you think about this game? It's a wild card game. I don't like the fact that they don't have a bye, but it is what it is. They got a chance to rest against the Giants. Second team beat the first team of the Giants. I like that. So they're going into the playoffs, the wild card round with a win, with momentum. But this Packers, they can't sleep on the Packers. The Packers started off slow this year, but they've gained some momentum. Jordan Love is a little like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know, he's good sometimes and he's not good other times. He starts slow. He plays better in the second half than he does the first half. But they got Josh Jacobs, great running back. He runs with vengeance. And Jordan Love's got a bunch of receivers around him. So talk about the game and give us your prediction before we go.
All right. Before I do that, I should mention that this genius here predicted the Eagles would win 5 games this year, the whole year. No, don't be laughing, Irving. You forgot how they ended last year. They lost 6 out of 7. Kelsey left.
But listen.
Left. I thought they'd be bad this year.
No, not when they got Saquon Barkley. I mean, even for I did not expect the defense to be the number 1 overall defense this year. Not at all. Right. I thought the defense would struggle. But when you look at the talent on the offensive side of the ball, we've got more talent offensively than any other team, by far, than any other team in the league.
You're right.
And then you add Saquon Barkley to that? Oh, my gosh. I knew.
They may have more talent on this offense than they've had in their history. Honestly. Look at the Dotson last week played. You suddenly realize he's pretty good, too.
He's the number 1 draft pick.
Right, exactly.
He can play.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
They have to win. I think they'll get by Green Bay, but I don't think it'll be easy for what you said. Jacobs can grind it out. They can control some clock. They got a lot of – this is a problem. The Eagles did not face a very tough schedule, so they haven't faced many really good defenses. Right. The Ravens, maybe the Steelers, that was it, right?
But those were impressive games. Games.
They were. They I want a fast start. I think they clear this hurdle, then they're gonna, the next round won't be as bad. They'll get all the rust off them, and I think then they'll go to the NFC Championship game, and maybe the Lions are waiting for them, maybe the Vikings. Is this not the best time of the year right now, Irving Fryar?
It is. It's a real good time of the year. The NFL although the game didn't turn out that well, but the NFL could not have planned it better to have the last game of the season, the Lions and the Vikings playing for the number 1 seed. Now, obviously, the Vikings didn't show up like they should have, but that was a great anticipation, and 2 teams that were right there at the top. playing for the number 1 seed. Listen, the Eagles, Angelo, I'm concerned about them starting slow Sunday.
Me too.
Why am I concerned? Well, why am I concerned about them starting slow? One, because most of the games that started slow this year, even the games they blew teams out, they started slow in the first and second quarters. They came in the second half and wore teams down and started scoring and pulling away from teams. But when you look at Jalen hasn't played in almost a month. It's been 3.5 weeks. You know, he played 11, 12 plays in that game against the Commanders and went out. And then now, was it yesterday and today? Well, today, A.J. Brown wasn't at practice today at all. He left practice 10 minutes into practice yesterday, and he wasn't at practice today, and neither was Devontae Smith. He wasn't at practice today. He was out of practice today, too. So you're looking at two of the biggest targets, and then obviously Goddard is back, but he only has one game under his belt, and that's not with Jalen, it's with the backups. So there's a possibility, man, we could stumble a little bit, particularly trying to throw the ball in this game against the Packers early. And all the Packers have to do is what the Commanders did when Jalen went out. Put 8 in the box. Let's stop the run. Let's make them one-dimensional. Let's make Jalen throw the ball or make him run. That's what I would do if I was a defense. I would crash down on the RPOs. I would always crash down on Saquon, the running back, and make Jalen carry the ball. Make him run the ball. Make him keep the ball in his hands. Yeah.
I tell you, you would have been a good coach. You would have been. But here's the thing, right? There's one other factor on the fast start. You go to a slow start, the Packers get up a touchdown or 10 points, something like that. You're losing some of the crowd, too.
Of course.
The crowd's big. The link is great for this thing. But you got to get the fans and get them there to, raise hell. Mm-hmm. And if you're losing, it's not going to be the same. They got to have a good start. You're 100% right. I think they get by this one. And I think at the very least, NFC Championship game, then we'll see. It's great. This is sports drama.
They have to win the Super Bowl, man. The championship is not good enough. They got to win the Super Bowl.
That's why you're a winner, my friend. You're a winner.
Well, listen, brother, I'm going to have you back on. This is not the end for you and I. We got a lot more to talk about. But we're going to end the show now, though, because we run out of time. All right?
Well, Irving, I had a great time. It was like a reunion with you from the days a long time ago. And you're doing a great job. I wish you nothing but success.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. You know where I'm going? I'm going to it's Hollis Thomas's birthday today.
Oh,
so after the show, I'm headed to Philly to his little gathering that he's having. So I'll let him know you said hello. I know that's your guy.
Let him know I'm kind of insulted that I didn't get invited.
Ouch, I probably shouldn't have said.
For 4 years together.
I know. I probably shouldn't have said nothing to you.
It's too late now.
I let the cat out the bag. I'm sorry, Hollis.
Irving, you're the best, man. Thank you so much.
All right, Angelo, I appreciate you, brother. I'll see you next time. Stay in touch, all right? Thank you.
Sure will.
All right.
Take care.
Hey, that was great. Oh, my gosh. Love Angelo. I don't know if you listened to him, any of you listened to him when he was the host, or one of the co-hosts on the morning show for 30-odd years, WIP, all the way back to when I was playing. That was a long time ago because I played a long time ago here in Philly. But Angelo's great. Love him. We did a show together. It was awesome. Just awesome. Billy Bell's in the house. Thank you, Billy Bell. It's a great show. Mama, I see you. Sister Hope Wiley, Tainted Rose, I see you. I'm sorry. Sneaker shape face. What is that? I don't know what that is. I hope none of you asked a question and I let him go and didn't see your question. Mike's in and out. Can't hear you. Okay, well, Mike was going in and out. Okay, yes, I have those bad. Was my mic going out, in and out on everything, y'all? I'm sorry. Hopefully, you got most of it. In and out. Vincent said in and out. Your mic dropped out. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here with this show. My gosh. TV is definitely coming. I don't know. I don't know what was going on with my mic. Maybe I need a new computer. Yeah, something's happening. That was going on my last show as well. The mic was going in and out. That's what everybody was saying. Well, sorry about that. Hopefully you can hear me now. But it'll be posted, and hopefully you'll be able to see it when it's posted, and there won't be any in and out stuff going on. Alonzo, I see you. G. Albert, I hear you. I see you. William Harris, shout out to you. Hope Wiley, my sister, shout out to you. Billy Bell, shout out to you. God bless you, brother. Mama, I see you. She said she's watching. I don't know if she was going in and out, or sound was going in and out or not. Tainted Rose, shout out to you. William Harris, shout out to you. The Back It Up Binge podcast, shout out to you. Ed Crawley, shout out to you, brother. Vincent Capriati, shout out to you too. He said in and out, going in and out. Ed Crawley's going in and out. Mike's going in and out. I do not know what that is. I can't figure it out. I'm not sure what that is. Hope Wally, bad memories. Yeah, I got those bad memories too. Angelo's still funny. Yes, he is, Mom. Billy Bell. Baldinger says Eagles win 4 straight. Okay, we'll see. Listen, I'm out of here. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place, same purpose. Listen, this broadcast was brought to you by Stolford Structures. Stolford Structures is a 49-year-old family business. Stolford Structures is a storage shed and garage company located in the heart of the Amish country. Yes, they are. They ship structures nationwide. You can check them out on mysheds.com. Mysheds with an S.com. They strive to be the undisputed choice of modular garages, sheds, and outdoor living products in the United States while furthering the kingdom of God. Mom said it sounds fine. I'm watching it on TV. Stolford Structures is known for their fast delivery, great quality, and great client service. So if you're looking for a garage or a shed or any kind of outdoor living product, Stolford Structures is the way to go. You can check them out on mysheds.com. And if you say Irving sent you, or if you mention the Fryar Place, 10% off of any purchase that you make. Shout out to all of you. Happy New Year again. I know it's our second show in the year. We will be back next week, same time, same place. We've changed our time on Fridays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So now we're live starting at 7 p.m. Y'all let everybody know. Share us, like us, spread the word. The Fryar Place is going to the next level in 2025. We got a new vibe in 2025. Starting at 7 p.m. next week. We'll see you, all right? We're out. God bless you. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others, because you reap what you sow. We'll see you next week. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We're out of here.